This video was made for all of the Pinball 2000 enthusiasts who are just trying to keep their machines in working order. Revenge from Mars has been in my collection for just over 4 years. In that time, I have made some modifications. For instance, I replaced the fluorescent back glass light and ballast with an F15-TB LED tube bulb, which runs directly off of 120 volts AC, eliminating the buzzing sound. I also installed polarized film to remove the back glass glare from the playfield. Finally, I added UV bulbs and glowing rubber rings to increase the creepy Martian factor. However, there has always been an upgrade that I knew would be inevitable. The computer that controls the game contains a Prism card with all of the code burned into the ROM chips. Over time, these cards fail. Also, the original CRT screens dim with use. This is what RFM looks like when the power switch is turned on. The CRT fades in as it brightens with an alignment grid. Then the game loads from the Prism card. Finally, the game can be played. A little background is in order. I have been working with and teaching Linux administration for decades, and 2 of my other pins, Stern Star Wars Home Edition and Jersey Jack Dialed In Limited Edition, run on Linux. That means that I am not afraid to dive in and break a few things, so I did some research. What I came up with was Pinbox. It was based on Nucore and required a 32-bit Linux distribution, Ubuntu recommended. I installed everything and it appeared to work. That is, until I connected the speakers to the system. The audio was choppy and distorted. Unable to remedy the ALSA pulse incompatibility of the operating system, I had to start over again, back to the drawing board. With a little more research, I found a GitHub page for Nucore Portable. The link is in the description below. Starting with a fully updated Debian 13 64-bit Linux, I cloned the repository and followed the instructions on the website. For the most part, they worked well. I had to change some permissions and add my user to the LP group to access the parallel port. In the end, I used the root user to get everything working. It's okay, the cabinet is offline. The computer chosen to replace the original is a Dell Optiplex 380. It has both parallel and serial ports, as well as built-in VGA. More importantly, it could be set to boot when powered on in the BIOS, meaning that I would only have to use the main switch to turn the pinball machine on. The monitor is an HP Compact LA2405X. It is also able to boot on power. More importantly, although the screen is 24 inches diagonally, the viewable area is 12.1 inches tall, same as the original CRT monitor at CGA or 640 by 240 resolution. The monitor has an on-screen display menu option to adjust the screen size, and it just so happens that with the output of the computer set to VGA at 640 by 480 non-interlaced, the width is 16.1 inches, exactly the same as the original monitor. Seriously, the monitor fits the cabinet with less than a millimeter of play horizontally and screws down with the original screws fitted with large washers. It seems to be made for just this purpose. No special 4x3 LCD, no special brackets, no sync adapter, nothing but a piece of angle iron and a shallow slot cut into the cabinet to clear the front-mounted monitor buttons. For anybody who does not own this particular pinball machine, you may be wondering why the picture is upside down. That is because the image will be mounted above the playfield and reflected off the unobtainium glass. To get everything working, I had to cut off one of the Molex connectors and add a 120 volt outlet. This setup provided power to the monitor, computer, and amplifier. I also added a nightlight galaxy projector to increase the creepy Martian factor. Project completed. This is how the pinball machine boots now. There were several changes made in the Linux distribution to make everything work as expected. The following section details some items that would be of interest to anyone trying to replicate my implementation. For those not interested, feel free to skip to the Easter egg section at the end of the video. Everything works. If I open the coin door, it plays well, the sound is great. The first thing that I did was update to the latest Linux kernel. Despite being 64 bits, the computer is limited to 4 gigs of RAM due to the 2 gig DIMMs taking up both of the slots. Then I stripped out all the unnecessary software and services. Nucore starts as a system service. Looking at the boot time, it appears that the operating system loads from the SSD and is ready within the first second. Nucore and the RFM ROM, currently 1.6, bring the boot up to 5 seconds. To view the hardware, LSCPU and LSPCI are issued. There is no special video card nor any proprietary drivers installed. This machine is stock. Here is an overview of the running processes, followed by a process tree. You may note that I have installed an SSH server. Actually, I'm using SSH to record these commands. The IP address of the computer has been manually set, along with the DNS and gateway. This means that I can connect the computer to another computer or even the internet as needed for future updates. The SS or Show Sockets command reveals my SSH connection on port 22. With everything installed, we are looking at just over 7 gigs of disk space. The computer is using less than 1 out of 4 gigs of RAM. Typically, turning a computer off would involve a shutdown process of some sort. In this case, we simply throw the switch at the bottom of the cabinet. To make the computer more resilient to power failures, I have instructed Grub to load the kernel directly into the RAM using the To RAM option at boot. I have also disabled all power saving using the No ACPI flag, along with other settings in the operating system. Finally, I am using the ext4 file system with journaling, just in case the computer is turned off during a write to the SSD. To get things going, I created a startup script for the XFCE environment which enters the Nucore folder, sets the default audio, and starts the game. Speaking of audio, I purchased a cheap amplifier which connects to the 1/8 inch tip ring sleeve connector, TRS, of the computer. Cutting off another Molex connector, I found the 2 wires that lead to each of the right, left, and subwoofer speakers in the cabinet. Stripping them and screwing them down, wires wrapped clockwise, I screwed the yellow wires to the positive terminals and the green to the negative. Each wire has a stripe indicating which speaker it goes to. The result is a machine that not only looks great but sounds great too. Now for the Easter eggs. Did you notice that the amplifier had a Bluetooth input? As it turns out, I can connect any audio source to it wirelessly. In this case, you are listening to my son Samuel play Liszt Transcendental Etude No. 11 from a tablet. Doesn't that create a back door, you ask? No, as the amplifier is only connected to the computer with the TRS male-to-male audio cable. I just went over the fact that the computer is running Linux. With a wireless keyboard connected to it, it can do anything that any other computer can do. As a demonstration, a little sacrilege is in order by projecting the movie Mars Attacks on the glass. Wrong number of arms for those wondering. To pull this off, keep in mind that everything is upside down and must be flipped vertically in order to display properly. Rotating the screen will not work, as the result would contain backwards text. Well, that's it for now. Happy hacking on your pinball machines.